What's up, Chatroomies? How you doing? This is your host, DJ Saint. You are watching Chatroom 101. Let's get it. First of all, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all of you who allow us to be in your house, in your car, your cell phone. Thank you so much. If you know someone who has not subscribed, please share, tell them to subscribe, and always get good conversations. Today I have a very wonderful conversation. Today I'm hanging out with a legal drug dealer. Today is that day. So without wasting your time, she's a fashion designer, she's a pastor, she has a doctorate in pharmacy, she's a mom, something else I have forgotten, and she has a dog. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, grandmas and grandpas, wadau na wadaudes, please help me welcome Pastor Shiku. Mambo basi.
Poa sana.
How are you doing?
I am well.
You're having
Thank
fun?
You. So far, yes.
Thank you so much for coming to Chatroom 101. People have been asking for you.
Which people?
The people who know you.
Oh, wow.
They have been like, wewe unaleta Pastor Steve, kwani hii chatroom hainaga madem? Tukasema we have to bring you here, we talk.
Yeah, I don't blame them. Yeah. I am the better half.
Alikuwa hapa akachoma kidogo. So tutakuuliza maswali alisema.
Okay.
Alafu after that tutaongea about your life journey from Ungwaro, right?
Ungwaro massive.
Ungwaro. Hey, anyone from Ungwaro, tune in. Tunataka kujua from Ungwaro to States, to pharmacy, to fashion design, how you have been able to do to ministry. Tunataka kujua venye umezi combine, what inspired you. So tumekuja hapa tuchape about your life story, and maybe you will inspire someone there who is feeling to give up kwa sababu ya masomo. Maybe someone out there, they are going through it right now and they don't know what's up, and maybe your story can inspire them to keep going. Anyway, how have you been?
I have been well. Thank you so much for having me here.
Yes.
I know it's been a minute, but we've been planning this, but in God's time, we are.
That's true.
Yes.
So we would like to know, were you born and raised in Seattle?
Does my accent sound like I was born and raised in Seattle?
It might be. You never know,
I know over the years, my accent has improved, but no, I was born in Kenya. Mm-hmm. As you said, born in Ungwaro, a place called Coast.
Okay.
For those who are familiar with Kawangware, that's where my humble beginnings started.
Wow. Can you end school, middle school?
Well, they were called primary schools. You want me to start from nursery?
No. Middle school, primary school.
Primary school, I went to a Catholic school. It's called Catholic Parochial School. Okay. It's in town by Holy Family Basilica. There is a school there. So that's why I did my standard 1 to standard 8. I hear nowadays they're calling them grades, but we will just call them how we used to call them back there.
High school?
High school, I went to Pangani Girls High School.
Yeah. From Ungwaro to Pangani.
Hey, okay. Good things can come from Ungwaro. Do not write off people from Kawangware. They can do great things.
Okay. Pango. How was Pango?
Pango was strict. Mm-hmm. But I love Pangani Girls because, when I was in primary school, coming from a Catholic background, that's a story from another day. I always wanted to go to Precious Blood, Riruta.
Okay.
I mean, being in Kawangware, that was the best school back then, and it was where when I was going to church at St. John Catholic Church, I used to see the girls of Precious Blood. But when I did my, I think the KCPE,
KCP.
I was called to Pangani Girls, and I remember asking my grandma, or rather my grandfather's sister. She used to be a nun.
Okay.
Well, that's another story for another day, but she used to be a nun and then she was not. But, I told her, hey, can you make it that I go to Precious Blood? But I had already started Pangani Girls, and something happened when I was in Pangani Girls, because that's where I got to know Jesus. I got born again.
Okay.
So by the time the term was ending, I think we used to call them terms, I was happy with Pangani Girls, and that's where my journey with God started. So I want to say that, it was a place that God ordained for me to go. However, I ended up there not in the school that I would have wanted to go.
Yeah.
And it was life-changing for me. Yes.
How were the boys in Pangani when you were studying in high school?
Pangani Girls...
Were the boys disturbing you, or were you disturbing the boys?
Pangani Girls was at jail. Do you know...
Hakuna kutoka.
Do you know Pangani Girls? You know that flyover?
Yes.
That's the closest that we could see the outside world.
Wow. There is this notion that has been happening in Kenya that there is a lot of killings in boarding schools, and sometimes ama mademo wanachange wanakuwa malele.
Yeah.
Time yenyu kulikuwa na story kama hizo?
Honestly, when I went to school, that was not really a thing.
Oh, okay.
Maybe there were whispers of maybe some people, but, it wasn't like, I don't know. I can't say really that was a thing. Maybe times have changed now.
Yeah.
But, I went to school a while back.
True.
Between when I went to school and now, it's a totally different world now.
When you're in Pango and you're out of Pango, what was your dream?
What do you mean? Like in terms of career?
In terms of career, like, why did you ever thought that you'll become a Pasi?
No, I didn't. But I have to say, there was a prophecy that was said when I was in Pangani Girls, and the funny thing is, it was through a classmate.
Okay.
And she came and told me, the Lord was telling me that, He's gonna call you into ministry. And I was saved, but not really, deeply saved, and I did not even understand what those things are. And I remember I went and talked to my grandmother, my dad's mom, because she was born again, and I told her that. And she told me, yeah, we'll pray about it. But other than that, that was the end of it. I never really thought about it. But looking at my journey now, sometimes it takes me back to that girl who gave me that prophecy, and when I see my life right now. But in terms of ministry, not really, as I mentioned. In terms of career, I think I started figuring out that I wanted to be a pharmacist maybe when I was in Form 2, Form 3, because my uncle, or rather my auntie's husband was a pharmacist, and I thought he was so cool. Yeah. So that's where the desire of being a pharmacist came from, because my mom would take us to his chemist, and I would hang out at the store. I would see him, dispensing drugs. That's the only understanding I had for a pharmacist. And since he was the closest role model to me, I started saying I want to be a pharmacist.
Wow, amazing. Coming to States, what was your culture shock?
When I came to
States.
First of all, Saint.
Yes.
I was born and raised and lived in Ungwaro until maybe I was in class 8 when I went to Pangani Girls. And after that, my family moved to Ngong. Okay. But I cannot really tell you that I was that hood girl. I mean, Niangalie. Yes. Can you tell I'm from Ungwaro other than...
Pesa zimekuosha.
No, not that, but yes. I can say that being in Pango and after that staying with my auntie when I was done with school, I can't say that it was really a culture shock for me, but it's where I landed.
Okay.
And, I usually see people come to the US now. They know a lot of people.
Yes.
Back then, Saint, Skona Drum too.
Wow. You came solo dolo.
I came solo. I did not know anybody in America. And my pastor, he's come to JCC, Bishop Kamau. He connected me with a school in Los Angeles, and and they put me on a plane. And I landed in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I remember getting there, and he had told me, oh, someone will come and pick you up at the airport.
Jeez.
I land, and there's a lady holding my name.
Okay.
So I was like, I think that's for me. So I followed her, and I love her. Her name is Thelma. She's African American. So she took me to her house in South Central LA.
Yeah.
Have you heard about South Central?
I have heard about it.
I think that's
Crimes, right?
That's where it's either you are born there, or you live there since you were little.
Okay.
But that is not a place for just anybody just to decide to live there. But anyway, I went to Thelma's house. I love Thelma, and she gave me orientation.
Okay.
She told me, with the African American accent. First of all, Aki, I wasn't understanding what these people were saying.
I was about to ask you, when you saw your name, you approached her. What did you say? Did she understand your accent?
We were lost in translation. Nobody was understanding the other one. I told God, you brought me here. Yeah. I shall make it.
True.
So, she's talking so fast. I'm like, okay, slow down. And then she's telling me, you talk so slow. But she gave me orientation. She told me, you see that street that says do not enter, and it has some color and some graffiti on it? She told me, I never ever want to find you there. And she told me because that's where the gangs exchange fire. And then she told me, I never want to catch you wearing red or blue. You wear you wear just neutral colors. Yeah. Already, Saint, I wanted to take the next flight back home.
You're like, where the heck am I?
Where is this?
Yeah.
And at night, I remember I heard gunshots, and she's like, oh, yeah, that's normal around here. And that was my orientation to the U.S.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, God, it's me and you. You brought me here. I will have to make it out of here.
Challenges?
Challenges, when I first came, of course, it's just trying to understand the language.
Yeah.
I mean, I was young, so it's easy to fake it until you make it.
That's
so
true.
I said, picking up, the water.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I need to stop saying water. I learned very quickly, and I hated the food.
Yes.
I think most Kenyans can attest to that. It took me a while to get used to that.
Yeah.
And of course, challenges, making new friends. Thelma was kind enough. I only stayed with Thelma, I think, for just 2 months.
Okay.
And then she introduced me to some Kenyans who are living in the city where I was going to go to school. So, of course, the challenges was, getting to learn people and treating them as your family, because now these are going to be your family. So those were some of my challenges, and of course the usual figuring out staying in status in school and making sure that you have the money to get your tuition paid and all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
For nurses, there is I don't know which book. I don't know if it's sociology or something. There is a section on nursing. They say, Manze, this one is difficult, and they're like, this is the part whereby if you don't have a stable support, there is a high chance of you dropping, or there is a high chance of you getting pregnant. In pharmacy.
Well, I've never heard of that one.
It is. In pharmacy, what part was it hard for you where you're like, did you ever feel like, hey, Mazemi, I'm going to give up? Ama, what kept you pushing to a point you're like, I cannot give up on this, I have to keep moving?
I think for me was the fact that, you had to, as I said, I came in as an international student.
Yeah.
I had to take 12 credits every semester, or I will drop out. And of course, dropping out and getting deported was not in my books.
Haturudi Ungwaro.
Haturudi.
Yeah.
You know, your parents have said goodbye. You can't show up. So it's just making sure that you take those courses and making sure that they line up the way they're supposed to. And, you know, there's some classes that you had to take them during specific times because, you know, it's a series. Like, you have to take them. So just knowing that you just have to figure out how, whether you're not gonna have food to eat because, I mean, you have to be in class, or you can't work or any of that. So I think that was my biggest challenge, just knowing that I can't fail. Okay. I have to finish this, and just being, you know, laser focused that you have to complete this, because if you don't, then kime umana.
Did you ever in school, right? Did you ever face racism?
I did, but I think looking back, I was so naive. Okay. I did not even know that's what it is, because I remember sometimes when I would go to class and they put us in groups, I'd find that I don't have a partner. Okay. You know, because in the beginning, people are thinking, oh, she's black. She doesn't even, you know, they sometimes they relate us to not being smart. And then I find myself working with myself or with the other person who was rejected by by everybody else. So
you don't have an option.
They're like, okay, you're coming to me. Yeah. And then they find out, oh, this girl actually is smarter than all of us. Yeah. So I guess in that sense, sometimes I would end up not having a partner. And now in hindsight, looking back, was like, that was like just pure racism and all that. I mean, there are times, you know, you would say something and maybe it's not racism, maybe it's true, they did not understand what you're saying. But you know how it is, you know, they tell you to repeat things. What did you say? Walk? You know, walk. Those are two very different things. Which one do you mean?
Do you remember your first car?
My first car? Yes. It was a Mazda 626.
Ooh. How long did it take you for?
It took me a while to get that car because I used to take the bus. Yeah. And the cheapest car that I could get was a stick shift.
Yes. So you know how to drive a stick shift?
I know how to drive a stick shift. So my Mazda 626, because the stick shift was the cheapest, and that's what I had. The money that I had, I could not get an automatic car, is what I got. Yeah. And I love that car. It was red. Okay. And that was my first car.
How was it?
It was awesome.
You got used to the roads, you got used to driving it, you were comfortable and stuff like that.
I did, and I had to learn how to drive a stick shift. I did not know how to drive one. And once I figured out, and I remember one day, I was so scared. Actually, I had the car, but I used to leave it. Okay. Because I'm scared of driving traffic here, LA, na stick shift na sijazoea. So I had a classmate, and I convinced him we exchange cars. Okay. So he would give me his automatic, and he would take my Mazda 626. And then I think one day he decided, I think I want my car back. So he gave me my Mazda. I know, amechoka nayo. So I was like, oh my God, now this car, I will have to figure out. Yeah. So the first few days, I was like, I'm not taking this car, so I'll take the bus. Then one day I ran out of money for the bus. And I have to go to, I was taking some class at Cal State University, and I did not have bus fare, but my car had full tank. Okay. So I was like, okay, it's either I don't go to school or I take this car and weather the traffic here, I-5, and go to Cal State. So I did, and I drove praying with a handbrake. With a handbrake. So nikikaribia neka handbrake nikienda halafu naachilia pole pole, but I made it. Okay. And after then, I just got used to it. Yeah.
Everybody who has come to States, they have a special story about their car. Do you remember one incident with your car that you'll never forget, your first car?
Unfortunately, it's not a good story.
Did you name it a name? Did you give your car any name?
No, that one did not have a name.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's such an unfortunate story because I parked my car outside, and I came in the morning and I looked where I had parked it, and I was like, okay, that cannot be my car. Unfortunately, some drunk person hit my car.
Oh.
Akaigonga ilikuwa ka chapo.
Serious?
Yes.
Akaigonga.
And they ran off.
Oh, man.
So I'm waking up, I'm going to work, and I'm like, where did I leave my car? Because that does not look like my car. I go home like, oh my God, that is my car. And the guy ran off. Luckily, when he ran off, he left his plate. So that's how we were able to track him. So unfortunately, my first car story is not...
That.
The memorable part actually is not a very good memory.
My other question, why did you come to Seattle from LA, Bana? While some people want to go back to LA. You are coming to a rainy Seattle. Why?
I thought I've said that on my preachings.
Man. Our Chatroomies, they don't know.
For those who don't know, man, coming to Seattle was not by choice. If I have to be honest.
Yes.
If I'm to be honest.
Be honest.
When I was in LA, I had a plan, actually. My plan was, I do the prerequisites.
Yes.
I finish. I go to University of Southern California, USC. But as I said, life was hard, man, being a student and all that.
And expensive too, right?
And expensive. Like, we were living 3 roommates. And back then, like, rent was still very expensive. And every job that I would go to, like, I would get fired for some reason, not because I am lazy. I remember saying seriously, one job we were doing filing my files, to very easy work. Yeah. And my supervisor comes and tells me that I did not file correctly.
Oh my
in my head, I'm like, what is there to file correctly? Like, papers in a file. I was let go. I'm telling you, when God decides to start shutting doors. Yeah. So anyway, things were tough, and my mom was in Seattle because I had some family here. Yeah. And so that's how I ended up here. My mom was like, why are you struggling down there? And still, like, I was hoping somehow something would come up that I'd stay in LA. Yes. And I remember that year, USC #1 changed their prerequisites for pharmacy school. So if I was to go there, I would have to be in community college for another year. Oh, okay. And I did not want to waste that time. And then also my backup school, like, my school refused to release transcripts to these schools. And the only school they released transcripts was University of Washington. Okay. Like, talk about just God ordering your footsteps. They're like, unaenda huku by force. So anyway, that's how I ended up here. I remember I packed my suitcase and told my roommates, deuces, hii maisha imenishinda. I'm tired of eating popcorn. I'm tired of being fired because I cannot file papers.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up here.
Are you still holding on to Christ? Ukiwa shule na ukiwa job?
Where? Life ya mas today. I had a fallout with Christ. Okay. When I was in LA. When I was in... There's a certain accountability you have, when you're in high school. Yes. You are surrounded with people who are like-minded. And then when you're home, people are watching you. Yes. Then you land in LA. I go to a place where it's just...
Party.
Party. But nearly try. I'm sure the people that know me from California, they're like, ebu danganyana hapo. So to answer your question, I was a little party girl. Okay. Nice. There's some things I really have never done, like get drunk and all that. But when I'm talking about party girl, like, we used to hit the club and all that. And
you used to dip it low.
I will not talk about that one. But hey, we used to go to the club. Yeah. And I can say that my walk with Christ was where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I came back to Washington that, I started. That's another story for another day.
Ulicheza kidogo lakini ukarudi.
Yes.
Hey, manze, fashion and design. Ilitoka wapi?
Gosh. I guess
Shika design.
It's something that was always in me, but my grandmother, my mom's mother, was actually a tailor.
Okay.
Growing up. And unajua tu vile unachangwa na shosho yako hapo to take care of you. So that's where my interest started. Like she would show me like how to make stuff. Of course nilianza kutengeneza tu tungo twa doli or something. So that's where my interest started.
Okay.
From my grandmother.
And how do you see healing through both spiritual and medical?
Well, we'll start with medical. Medical, of course, you need the medicine, right?
Yes.
I'm a believer that, God gives us these brains.
Yes.
So that we can be able to come up with these drugs.
Yes.
I'm talking about the legal ones. Saint.
Yes.
So that we can be able to treat these diseases.
Yes.
Even Paul, in the Bible, was it James or who was it? Nani alikuwa anamwona tumbo?
Ni Timo.
Ni Timo. Akamba Timo,
Chapa kitu.
Yeah. Tengeneza hiyo tumbo.
There's some religion, like my grandma.
Yeah.
There are those they don't believe in medicine.
Yeah.
Like my grandma right now, she's blind. Because she never believed in going to the hospital to be treated.
Yes.
So how would you convince such people that medicine works for them?
Those people are very tough to convince, because religion is something. I don't want to call it. Let's call it. Sometimes it can be a stronghold.
Yes.
Sometimes religion can be. I'm not saying they practice witchcraft, but sometimes it can steer in that direction.
Yeah.
And it's people can be misinformed, and sometimes it's just us as clinicians just trying our best to explain to them that yes. There is your belief, but also there's, all these things that God has made available. And the example that I usually give people, I tell them, if there was a fire, would you go put your food in there?
No.
You wouldn't, right? Even though you really believe in God, at least you have the common sense to know that if I touch that fire, I'll be burnt, right? So, and that's the same analogy that I use. If you knew there was something that can help you, that God has made available, then I believe it's also common sense that that's probably a bad word, but.
It's okay. Tuko chatroom.
But take advantage of it, because there's a place prayer can go.
Yeah.
But also, faith without action, is dead. And sometimes that action is something that God has already provided, made available for you to utilize to get your healing. Yeah.
Nice. You're in a field that, actually two fields that mainly manly dominated. So my question would be, what does leadership mean to you as a woman in two traditional male dominated fields, that is in medicine and in ministry?
Well, in medicine, it depends. If you're talking about in pharmacy is actually female dominated.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Okay.
But medicine in general, it's male dominated, because your providers, your doctors, they will be men. And it's just knowing, that you're valid being there, and trusting in the fact that you know what you know. You went to school, you're prepared, you're smart, right?
Yes.
So you can't let anybody put you down just because testosterone yake inataka kuonesha that I'm the guy, you have to listen to me.
Yes.
But there's ways of making sure that you're hard and at the same time being respectable.
Yes.
Yes.
What about church, ministry?
church, luckily, we're in the Pentecostal. Pentecostal church, they've allowed women to serve.
Yes.
So that makes it a little easier for me.
Uh-huh.
And at the end of the day, if people can tell the anointing is in you, they're not going to question whether you're a woman or a man.
That's true.
Yes.
In the years you have been a pastor, is there a moment you ever felt you're losing faith?
Yeah, there's been those moments, that you see you've been in JCC for a while, you see the ups and downs of the ministry, and at some point you're like, God, really, did you call me, or was it me, or did I call myself? Yes. Right? Uh-huh. And then you remember the voice that God gave you, and you hold on to that voice. So yes, to answer your question, there've been those moments where the church, the ministry goes through its up and downs. But one thing that I have learned, even in the lowest of the lowest, that we've always come up, and as a ministry, or even me as a person, and it's in those moments that you can look back and say that ata hili litapita, and when you see the track record of God with you, that you get it encouraged.
Yes. What is something that people who know you they don't know about you?
Oh man, there's many.
Come on. give them to us.
Maybe I'll give you one.
Give me two.
Give you two?
Yes.
Maybe this one people know. I'm actually an introvert.
Yeah, that one everyone knows. Give us another one. They can tell by how long it took us to get you here.
Oh, well, I can give other excuses of why I didn't make it here. Should we start?
Yeah. No. Give us another one.
What else? I love libraries.
Okay. You still go to library even?
That's something people don't know about me, that on my off day, sometimes I will drive and just hang out at the library. There's something about books. Like, I feel like I'm surrounded by a lot of knowledge.
Hey.
And I just...
We are sorry.
I know I'm weird like that.
Some of us here have some books.
Just the smell of books and being around books,
yes.
It takes me to my happy place.
If David walked into your pharmacy today, what over-the-counter product would you recommend first?
Are we talking about King David, or who are we talking about here?
We are talking about King David.
David ni wengi.
We are talking about King David.
I know a lot of David.
You know a lot of David.
I just want to know.
Let's talk about King David. When you look at his life, what medication over the counter would you recommend him?
Gosh. I don't know that one. What would I give him?
Me, I think ningempea.
What would you give him?
Ya reduce testosterone yake.
But it was only one occasion.
This guy killed someone's husband because of wife. So I think ningempea hiyo ya reduce testosterone.
Ni ile dawa na shangani gani hiyo angepewa?
Tunge create.
Tumtafutie tu. Lakini see, a lot of guys would need to be given that one. Mbona nani ame nini?
Director wetu ni venye ameoa. If your life had a tagline, what would it be?
I would say #by grace.
By grace.
Yes.
Why by grace?
I'll say #by grace because I believe where I am, it's taken just God's grace.
Yes.
I mean, I started telling you that I born and raised Kawangware, right?
Yes.
So there is no way somebody that comes from such a humble beginning, and when I see myself today that I cannot, account it to grace.
Yes.
There's a scripture that I like that says that, by the grace of God, I am what I am. And the grace that he bestowed upon me was never in vain. So I do believe that God has granted me unmerited favor. There's places that I have walked in, or people that I've encountered that, back then in my humble beginning, growing up, that I would never have thought. So
Yes.
definitely I would say by grace, hashtag by grace, yes.
Nice, I like that. When you're driving in your car, which is your favorite song you always play?
Oh, Nitashinda
Nitashinda. Who has
by
sang that song?
Matthias Walichupa. Yes.
Do you know Wakadinali? Wametoka Ungwaro.
Why does that sound like a trick question? Who are those?
I want to recommend a song for you.
What kind of music do they do?
They do gospel.
Wakadinali? Oh, okay.
You should go check it out. You will love their song. Wakadinali.
Sawa.
Yeah.
I will I will check them out.
So, this one, let me make this one fun now. Do you prefer, on your free time, do you prefer bubble bath or Bible study?
Could have you just chose something else other than bubble bath?
It's fun. You're relaxed. You're an introvert.
I'm not a bubble bath
You're
kind of
not a
girl.
bubble bath?
No.
Pastor Steve. Bubble bath. Cheza kaa wewe. So Bible study.
Have you been to my Bible study?
No, not yet.
I give them a shout out. They're called the Remnants.
The Remnants.
And yes, I will choose Bible study because these guys are fun.
Okay.
Actually, Nick is one of them.
Oh, he's one of them.
So he can tell you. He's never shown up for the meetings, but
after 2 minutes.
He can tell you. So maybe since I'm not a bubble bath kind of girl, I'll choose Bible study.
When you're down, what scripture inspires you to keep going?
I can do all things
Through Christ.
through Christ who strengthens me. Yes.
Okay. There is allegations that have been raised by young girls
Okay.
that pastors' wives and wamama wa church, they fight them because of how they dress. And some of them say, wow, skirt na magoti zilikataa kushikana. And so when they come to church with short skirts, women come and kick them out of the church, or maybe tell them, wewe chukua hii shuka jifunike, unatuonyesha nini? And some of them have never come back to church. So they asked me to ask you, why is it that pastors' wives and women chase them away, while you guys in that age, you were wearing even maybe worse than them? Or how can we fix that problem?
I think we should categorize this question. First of all, the house of God is open to anybody.
Yes.
Right?
Come as you are.
Come as you are. We've had people come right from the club, and come to church.
Yes.
So it should be open for everyone. But you also have to realize, that personally, this is my thing. It depends with where you are with God. So if you have been walking with God and say, like, for example, in the praise team, right?
Yes.
Then there's a level of how you should be dressed. So for those ones, I might be hard on, right?
Okay.
But for somebody who really does not go to church and they stumble, they say, today I just want to find Christ. Just come the way you are. Maybe the first Sunday we'll be like, welcome to the house of God, right?
Yes.
The next Sunday, we with love, I don't condone, people coming and telling people not to come to church, right?
Yes.
But to the young girls who have this question, also, when you come in, then just expect just the same way if you were to go to a restaurant and let's say you went without, a guy went without a shirt.
Yes.
They will tell you, please next time wear a shirt.
Yes.
Next time wear some shoes. You can't come here barefooted, right? Because at the end of the day, the young man in the church,
Testosterone iko juu.
Testosterone iko juu.
Yes.
And please don't make them have to choose between binguni na hormones.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. What to choose hormones?
So just to safeguard, because we're thinking about it, but we're also thinking about that young guy,
That's
who we also want them to find Christ. So we might tell you, hey, welcome to the house of God.
Yes.
This is how we dress. And we're not being unreasonable. I don't think those women will be unreasonable. They're like, next time, teremsha to maybe a few more inches. You look nice, you look lovely.
Yeah.
Teremsha just a few inches. But to answer your question, I don't think people should be kicked out of church because of how they should be dressed. But also, I think it's the responsibility of the women in the church, just to uphold them with love and teach them these things with love.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they should use love. So you guys come back to church.
Yes.
And you will have love. When you're filling prescriptions, what kind of music, R&B, I'm a 90s you like to listen to when you're filling those prescriptions?
I'm a 90s girl, so I like 90s. But actually, my favorite music when I'm at work is actually jazz.
Okay.
I do like to listen to smooth jazz. So everybody, when I'm at work and they smooth jazz, they know that it's me who's playing the music.
You're in charge.
I'm in charge.
I'm in this area.
Exactly. It's soothing, it's relaxing,
True.
Wow. There's
Wow.
never bad words and such.
That's true. What's something about you that would surprise people who only know you from the pulpit?
Siyo nishajibu.
Hiyo ilikuwaga in general. Sasa tunataka wenye hawakujui kwa pulpit.
I think they know a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, what would
But
surprise them?
There is something they might be surprised that you do. Like, Pastor Shiku anafanyaga hivyo kweli?
Like a good thing or a bad thing?
If you have a bad one, is good.
Hiyo siwezi toboa.
Huwezi toboa?
Wewe unaweza toboa zako?
Zangu nikitoboa. Wow. Tunaweza choma. Inaweza kuwa mbaya.
Kila mtu ako na zile, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's between you and you, yeah?
That's true. I think this one, hii niliambiwa nikuulize na a fellow physician.
Okay.
Inasema, have you ever disagreed with the doctor's prescription? Like aka prescribe dawa kwa patient.
Yeah.
Na wewe uka disagree nao akasema zizi. Maybe it's a high dosage or it's low dosage or something like that.
Yes. Well, many times, because that's my job. Being as a pharmacist, I know you call me legal drug dealer.
Yeah.
But my training, actually, I've been trained to scrutinize, whatever providers write and determine whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I exist,
Yes.
just to make sure that a patient does not end up with the wrong dose, and most of the time, when you communicate this with providers, they are kind of open, but there are times, like they've been like, no, that's how I want it.
Yeah.
So usually my question is it going to cause harm to this patient? Because it could be, I want it this way, but there's a study out there that shows that, that this person can have this medication.
Yeah.
So in that case, I'll do my side research and say, hey, this is not the usual, but we can do this. But there's some instances where straight out, it's going to harm the patient.
Yes.
And in those cases, yes, it's happened. And usually my response is, I don't care who you are. This medication is not leaving the pharmacy. That's after we've argued a little bit. We back and forth. I was like, what? Can you provide me some literature? Do you have any data? And they don't. And I've clearly showed them, from my training and also the data that's out there that it's going to harm the patient. So it's just whether it's harming the patient, then that way, that in that cases, yes, I have had such instances and I have put my foot down and the medication did not leave the pharmacy.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice. So this one, I want to twist it a little bit. In your field, that means you have to study a lot because we have new medicines over and over again. And sometimes I think most of the times when it comes to doctors, they are male, right? Have you ever felt undermined by a Caucasian doctor once they find that you're black, and maybe you're like telling them that medication I'm not gonna give this patient because of A, B, and C? How do you handle that kind of a situation?
Let me get your question. So if I have had a Caucasian
Male doctor, they are trying to prescribe a medicine to this patient, but you're like, no, we cannot do that to this. Now, he's Caucasian, you're black.
yes.
Do they feel intimidated by you? Because there is that notion of blacks are not smart than white people.
Yeah.
And now having that kind of, have you ever faced that kind of situation in your life, in your workplace?
I will not call it intimidated per se, but I mean, I've definitely gone to places and maybe I did not, introduce myself, or rather, they assumed because I'm black
Yes.
that the best I can be is something else
Yes.
other than a pharmacist. Or like when you walk up in a place, and I've walked up in a unit, and a provider asks me if I'm lost.
Yeah. Wow.
And in my head, I'm like, why would I be lost? And I looked at the people around me who I walked with. They were not asked if they were lost.
Yeah.
Or I walk in and they're like, can I help you? And yeah, so I've had those instances. And, at the back of my mind, I can tell where this question is coming from.
Yes.
Because, in their head, they feel like, they're not connecting the dots. Like this person, we don't expect someone who looks like this to be here. So then I must be lost.
Yes.
So yes, that has happened.
And how did you handle it?
I always handle it. If you know me, I'm a little sassy.
Yes.
But I will use my sass professionally,
Yes.
right? And so the person that asked me was like, "No, I'm actually good." And I asked them, "How about you? Can I help you?"
And then they get shocked when they see.
Oh.
And
And then so when once you flip the question back right at them, they're like,
yeah.
"Oh, okay." So it's either now they're bold enough to ask you why you're here, or they're like, let me back off for a minute and try figure out before I ask why this person is here. Yeah.
Okay, true, nice. What's one story that reminds you why you do what you do?
Are we talking about ministry or
Both.
okay? So ministry. One big reason that reminds me why I do and encourages me is you.
Okay. Hey, let's go. Come on now. Why me?
Well, it is you because Sam.
Yes.
How many years now?
Wow, almost a decade. More than a decade.
More than a decade ago, I was the youth pastor at JCC. And I remember a young man who were called Sam Teen because you look like a teenager. You were pretty young.
And handsome.
And handsome.
Yeah.
You walked into the doors of JCC.
Yeah.
And Sam ulikuwa umewaka.
Mbaya.
Ulikuwa umetoka wapi?
Bash.
Umetoka Bash. And you walked in and I saw you and, just with any other young people, I was like, let them come. Hata kama watakuja kama wamelewa.
Kujeni tu.
Kujeni, and I think we had a youth event and, you guys wanted to compete dancing. Or sitachoma sana.
Yeah, usichome sana.
But, you kept coming. Sunday after Sunday, you kept coming. And I do remember you telling me that, you want to DJ. Do you even remember that? And, we organized with someone who would, train you how to DJ. Is that where DJ Saint came from?
Hapo ilikuwa DJ Favor Boy.
DJ Favor Boy.
Yeah, lucky boy.
Lucky
to
boy.
make change, I know.
And now looking at you now, I'm so glad that you were not judged. That when you came in, we met you where you are, and here you are, interviewing me.
I know.
You're doing good.
Yes.
Married, a father, businessman.
Yes.
I think stories like those, seeing people from their humble beginning and just knowing that I was just a small part of what God was doing in their lives, encourages me and wants to continue with ministry. Yeah.
Amazing. Hey. So I'll be, if you write a book, I'll be there.
You will make it. Utakuwa na paragraph. A few sentences. But I think you would be in a whole paragraph.
Hey, maze. That's nice. Alafu medicine, pharmacy.
Pharmacy, it's when, you sometimes I walk in and there's a very sick patient.
Yeah.
And, I work in the ICU. And, I'm part of, we do what's called rounds every morning. We talk about, we do patient to patient, like walking rounds.
Yeah.
And, when I give a recommendation and I see, the changes that are made and actually a part of what helped you get out of the hospital, whether it's preventing a murder, whether it's adjusting your antibiotics or something, or just a recommendation that makes an impact, that, makes me feel like, yes, I love my job and I want to continue doing this, just seeing the changes. Yeah.
Nice. What's one small act of kindness someone did to you that you'll never forget?
Actually, this is, I don't know.
To let a tissue? To let a tissue?
I think maybe isi ya kulia,
okay.
but it was an act of kindness anyway.
Okay.
So, I'm at Winko. I'm with my boys.
Yes.
Vile boys wanasumbuanga. So I entered Winko and I left my wallet. And we picked everything that we needed. We went to the counter.
Oh, man.
So when we got to the counter and I found out I don't have my wallet, but I had some cash.
Yes. Oh.
I think I had only maybe $15, but we had picked up a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
So I started telling the boys, okay, return this, because I only have $15.
Mama.
So the lady behind me interpreted that this is a struggling black mother.
With kids.
Maybe on welfare or something.
Oh my goodness.
So she was a Caucasian lady.
Yeah.
Bless her heart. So she told me, ma'am, I know this is tough, but I can help out.
Yes.
I can pay for those things. So I was like, no. It's okay. You don't have to pay for this. She really insisted that she wants to pay this stuff for me.
Yes.
And to a point, she told me, please do not be the one that blocks my blessings.
Come on now.
I want to do an act of kindness.
What's running in your head at this moment?
In my head, I'm like, gosh, I know I'm a black woman with 3 black boys, but not all of us,
We are not on welfare.
We're not on.
Us.
I just forgot my wallet.
Yeah.
But anyway, she really insisted and I let her. So, because I think it's when she told me, please do not prevent me from getting my blessing. So I'm like, who am I? Why? Maybe God had orchestrated that I leave my wallet so this woman can get a blessing. Yeah. So anyway, she paid for the stuff, and I told my boys, please pack this stuff. Let's leave quickly, because I didn't want her to see me rolling.
Oh, she would be pissed.
She would be pissed. You're rolling in a Tesla, and somebody just paid for you your groceries. But
I
went home. I was like, you know what? God bless this woman. She did not have to. And when the moment she says, I do not want my blessings to be, to block my blessings, I did that. But that's one thing I don't think I'll ever forget.
Hey, that's for the books.
Yeah.
Did you find your wallet?
Yeah, I found my wallet.
Oh, you did?
So I told the boys, we have to carry this forward, because I wanted to teach them something. I told them, so when we go somewhere, we gotta pay something for somebody.
Yeah.
So we brainstorm what we're gonna do, and the next time we went to Starbucks, we paid for the car behind us.
What was the reaction when the woman was like, "Let me pay for you"?
Actually, they were shocked when
They were shocked?
when I was refusing.
Oh, okay.
So they're looking at each other. Why is she saying no?
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, but we are way more than capable. We can buy stuff for ourselves.
That's why we pitch all this.
Exactly, but we just don't have our wallet.
Yeah.
But it was a learning lesson for them. Like, when someone does an act of kindness for you, like, pass it on to someone else. Yeah.
Nice. What's the most... Now let's go to pulpit. You're preaching. What is this one someone has ever come and told you unexpected about your sermon?
I think it's earlier on, in ministry. I preached a sermon, and I think maybe, going back to your question about male-dominated,
Yes.
and I was pretty young, and after the service, I'm feeling like I've preached so powerfully.
Yes.
This guy, I think he was a pastor who was visiting from Kenya.
Okay.
He came up to me. He's like, "Good sermon, but where you say this, I would have said it this way." Ooh. So he said, criticizing my sermon. He's like, "I would have added this."
Yes.
So next time when you preach, like,
add this.
So like it totally deflated me.
I can imagine.
And my pastor back then, I remember, like, he was so upset. He was like, you did great. But I remember going home, I was like, oh my God, I guess I did not do well. But I guess it was a good learning point for me early on in ministry that, there will always be people that will be receptive to your message, and there are others who would maybe think they can do better than you, or block whatever message that you had. So yeah.
I hope he's still there. He should see you now. My favorite sermon you've ever preached. The damsel.
Oh,
That's my favorite sermon.
Damsel arise.
Yes. That's my favorite sermon.
What did you like about it?
Hey, the way you explained about it, it was simple. Like you're a teacher, you make someone write notes.
Yes.
So I wrote so many notes, and kwa place hapo nimeiweka tu samlana yangalia. Damsel. I have named it that way. Damsel.
Damsel.
Yeah. If you could start a show called Pastor and Pharmacist, what would the first episode be titled? If you had a show.
Pastor and Pharmacy. I'd call it Things Not to Tell Your Pharmacist.
Oh, that's interesting. Why?
Because I'm telling you the things like Christians, when they come, they tell you. It's just interesting.
Yeah.
So they would come in, they haven't been taking their blood pressure medication. And of course, you're here because your blood pressure is high, right?
Yeah.
But you tell me, I'm trusting that the Lord will heal me.
Yes.
So that will be my episode, Things Not to Tell Your Pharmacist.
That would be
Don't
interesting.
tell me that. Because I'm going to tell you,
you're
here for help,
yes.
and this is how I'm going to help you. If you did not need this help, please, you should have stayed home. But you came to the hospital. You did not go to your pastor, right?
That's true. That's true.
Yes.
What's one hobby that you do surprises people?
I don't know if this is a surprise anymore, but I do like to CrossFit.
Okay.
Maybe, there's social media. I do post myself CrossFitting. And actually, I can lift very heavy. I can do snatches.
Oh, for real?
And all that. So, I guess maybe people who haven't seen me do that, they would be surprised.
You're challenging us. We go to the gym. Do you ever what retirement? Do you ever think you'll ever go back home? Ama una retire huko?
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet.
The jury is still out on that one.
Okay.
But I believe I have set myself up that if it goes either way, I think I'll be
Or
fine.
maybe you can survive in both ways.
Yes.
Both
Yeah.
sides. Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Another
Yes.
one. If you could create a new flavor of medicine, what would it be and why?
It's easy saying swali unatoa wapi.
Ni timu yangu inanipatiaga hizi maswali.
Does Josephine have anything to do with these
No,
questions?
she's not even part of... Ni Nick.
Ni Nick.
A
A flavor.
Maybe strawberry, banana.
But they already exist.
Yeah, you can come
Like
up
the
with
syrups, there's all those kinds.
Yeah, you can come up with a flavor.
Raspberry. But it probably exists. I like raspberries. Yeah.
Maybe. And why?
They're delicious. Raspberries are delicious.
Yeah, what would your medicine cure?
Something that has no cure, so I guess it'll be cancer.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yes.
If you could have, oh, this is a good one. If you could invent a magic pill, what would it cure or do? But I think you have already said cancer, right?
Yes, and specifically the pancreatic cancer kind. Reason being that that's the kind of cancer by the time they are diagnosing it, you're dying because it's really hard to diagnose. They diagnose it during the end stage when it's sent mets everywhere. I mean, I had a very close friend that died of cancer. You probably know her, Edith.
Oh, yeah.
And, she passed away from pancreatic cancer. And unfortunately, by the time they discovered it, it was late because it's, as I said, it's one of those cancers that, when they catch it, you're probably dying. So, yes, inspired by that, I was smart enough or God graced me enough to make a magic pill,
Yes.
I would want it to cure pancreatic cancer.
Amazing.
Yeah.
This one I was asked by married women, to ask you if you go through the same.
Which
thing.
married women are you
There's
making
so
up
many.
this stuff?
Yeah. You're making me forget the question. They asked me to ask this question. When was the last time Pastor Steve booked for his appointment, doctor's appointment?
By himself?
By himself.
He doesn't.
He doesn't.
Did he ever tell you he does?
He lied, but we are on the same boat, my brother. I think one time, I felt like I'm sick. Like I had not gone for a checkup for a whole year, so I decided to book it for myself. And so the following, like a week later, I told my wife, "Hey, I have a doctor's appointment. I'm going." And she's like, "What? What did you book?"
She was shocked.
She was shocked.
I would be shocked if he booked. I would think he's dying or something.
Yeah. So she was like, I have never heard of any married man has booked their appointment to go to the hospital. I think for us men, we go until we are sick. That's when we go for checkup.
Oh, yeah.
And that's, Maze, I think it's something that you're trying to fix. We go even when we are not feeling bad, to go and to be checked. Do you prefer Steve to be honest or transparent?
I prefer transparency. Yes.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
Like,
Because
if you
if you're
ask me,
transparent, then you're truthful.
You're truthful.
It encompasses both. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, in normal. My last question. But I think I'll have you again. We come and talk about adoption.
Okay.
So I will have you come back again.
Sounds good.
I think it's gonna be a good topic. And also, there's some people who have gone through hard church, and they have never had a chance, or maybe to be talked to, And once they were hurt by the church, they've never gone back to the church.
Yeah.
And now if you ask them, they're like, mi siendagi church, but sijai acha God. What would you tell them?
I think I'd tell them that, Pastor Steve says, the church is a hospital.
Yeah.
Right? And we should count ourselves all as sick people. Because the church is not the four walls. The church is people.
Yeah.
And in the business of dealing with people will hurt you.
Yes.
And your family members will hurt you. But the question is, do they stop being your family?
No.
They don't, right?
Yeah.
So you figure out a way and you tell them, you hurt me in this way. You figure out how to solve this. But unfortunately, when people get hurt, number one, they don't tell anybody. So we find out later that this person was hurt by mama wa mandazi, ama they were hurt sijui by who.
Pasia kunisalimia.
Sikusalimiwa, baby shower hukukuja, pre-wedding ulitoa $250, things like those, ama hukutoa anything. But I think it's good to understand that, these people are also humans like you.
Yes.
So we have our moments. Like, for example, with me, if I'm not wearing my glasses and I'm not wearing contacts, you may think I ignored you, but honestly saying sikukuona, like I am nearsighted, right? And you might say, pasi hata salimianangi siku hizi, and you leave. But the prudent thing would be like, hey, Pasi, I saw you. Why didn't you say hi to me? And I might tell you, hey, everything when I'm not wearing glasses is fuzzy. I did not know whether it was, what was moving. I did not know it, but you know where I'm going with this. So I would say that number one, remember that you're dealing with humans. Your pastor is also a human. You're also a human. You've hurt other people. So don't run. Just come tell us what offended you. And 90% of the time, it's something that can be fixed. You don't have to run away.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Hello Gorgeous. It's coming up. So Hello Gorgeous, you have been doing it for?
Since 2016.
2016.
Yes.
We read the tagline is, your merchandise is good.
Uh-huh.
So men are asking, which merchandise is good? Which merchandise is this?
Fill in the gaps for yourself. But honestly, it comes from the Proverbs, woman.
Yes.
The Bible says that, that she was an entrepreneur, right? She was a housemaker.
Yes.
And, she was like the merchant ships, that's what the Bible says. And, she knew that she had it good.
Yes.
She knew that either you're educated, you're a good mom,
Yes.
you're a businesswoman. And the Bible says that she perceived that her merchandise is good.
Yes.
Meaning that she was confident in who she was. She was living her God-given purpose. So that's where the tagline comes from, that, we want every woman to know that their merchandise is good. Whatever that merchandise, you want to place a name on it, whether it is your business, your capabilities of being a mother, your knowledge, skills.
Yeah.
And sometimes merchandise, it could be just the way you look.
That's right.
I agree. Unajijua mtoto ameumbwa?
Ameumbika. Toto si toto.
Your merchandise is also good. Yes. So that's where that's all about.
What made you to come how did you get the a heart to empower women?
I think it comes from just my background as a woman, and my journey, where I started, and I beat a lot of odds. Maybe you will see that in my book one day.
Yes.
There's many things that I cannot say in this podcast, and from being written off.
Yes.
From whether it was a witch doctor who had been hired to do witchcraft. It's a true story, by the way. Juju, and make sure that you will never make
Succeed,
it, you know, and but I still beat all those odds.
Yes.
And you know, just encouraging another woman that
Yes.
if I did it, you can do it. So
Yes.
that's where my ministry of, you know, of women came from.
Okay.
That you don't want to make it this far and not be able to impact another person and help them realize that they can do it.
Yeah.
That whatever it is that they're going through right now, their future self, you know, whoever that future self is, you know,
Yes.
one day will be able to tell them, hey, you made it. You know, I'm glad that you never gave up. And just me being the bridge to help somebody go from one stage to another, that's what makes me happy in what I do.
Okay. This year is happening July?
July 12th.
July 12th.
It's going to be at the Marriott
Yes.
SeaTac Airport from 2 o'clock. It's going to be lit.
Yes.
Please
There
get
is-
your ticket if you
There is
haven't.
a lady right now.
Uh-huh.
She's contemplating to go.
Uh-huh.
Can you convince her why she should come to Hello Gorgeous?
Well, number one, your life will never be the same again. And you will get to meet a lot of women.
Yes.
You will be impacted by their stories. It's going to be fun. And you get to dress up.
There you go. Have fun.
Have fun. Yeah.
Bambe.
Uh-huh.
Jiachilie.
Exactly. Uh-huh.
There is a young lady right now, ako kwa ministry. She's feeling down, or maybe she's feeling like, I don't think I was called by God to do this. Would you encourage her? And number two, there is another one in medical field, and it's tough for them right now. They don't know what to do. Some of them, they're trying to give up. Pia huyo mpatia advice.
My advice is good things, you know, don't come easy.
Yes.
Because if you think about, you know, a diamond, it has to be refined to
Yes.
shine.
Yes.
I can assure you the process of refining is not easy, right? Whether it is gold, you know, it's being purified, removing the impurity. It has to go through some heat. You know,
Yes.
it toys on my impurities. So for you to see the end product, if you're in medical school and you're getting discouraged, I want you to remember that this is, you know, your refining moment.
Yes.
And that's what's going to make you a great doctor, because you will not give up. It will train you for what's ahead, because if you
Yes.
give up now, it means that when you become a doctor and your patient, you know, you have a difficult patient, that you're going to give up on them.
Yeah.
But so you have to endure this process, because at the end of the day, you know, when you come out on the other side, you know, you will be exactly what you wanted to be.
Yes.
So don't give up.
Don't give up.
Yeah, it's
Ministry.
hard, but stay there.
Ngangana tu.
Ngangana.
Na huyu wa ministry pia ya angangane.
Peer ministry ngangana.
Asi give up.
The fact that, you know, the devil is discouraging you should be your driving force, because there's something in you that he does not want manifested.
Yes.
So hang on there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shika Design. Why did you stop Shika Design? We don't see it anymore.
Man, mi nilichoka na customers. Hawalipangi.
Wanasema basi. Walikuchokesha.
Walinichokesha. Na sababu sitaki tukosane ni kuonange church.
I know, ama atoke church.
Kwanza
ndio
una
kuna deni.
acha hiyo, unachomoka na ile nguo nilishona na hata hujalipa.
Wao ni wale wase wanakuaga na madeni, alafu Instagram wako zile wako vacation wanasema enjoy life.
Yeah.
So uliacha.
But honestly, it's still a passion of mine. And that's not the big reason. It's one of the reasons, but it's not a big reason. But I'm busy.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't have time to do that.
Yeah,
And
I'm sure it takes time.
Exactly. It does take a lot of time, and it's a labor of love. So by the way, ukiwahi kata kulipa fundi ujue ameweka a lot of time on that. But that's not the main reason that I don't do it. It's just that it's more the time for me.
Okay.
So I'd rather source, you know, if I make a design and, you know, just have someone do my designs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone told me that you have an agency. So pia entrepreneur uko mbaya.
I do have an agency, but let's not put that out there, because it's not really functional.
Oh, you're still working on it.
It's a work in progress.
It's in between businesses.
It's in between business.
Okay.
And quite honestly, I don't even think I don't know if I want to do it. So yeah.
Oh, it's something you're thinking of doing,
It's something that I started, and then I realized, there's some things that you start and you ask yourself, is this
Mbona
something
nimeanza
that
hii kitu?
God sent you to do this,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
you're just
yeah.
doing it out of convenience? Because I'm the kind of person that, I have to differentiate between a good battle or a battle that should not be a battle.
Yeah.
Right? Because if, God has instructed you to do something and has given you the green light,
Yeah.
even though your business will go through ups and downs, then you stay on course, right?
Yes,
But
yes.
if God never sent you in the beginning, frustratika hapo. So I'm at the point where I'm still trying to decide if God sent me in that direction.
Okay. Next time ukikuja utatuambia.
Maybe I'll tell you, but for now, like it's kind of non-existent at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. No problem. Thank you, Pasi, for coming. I've had fun hanging out with you.
Yes.
But I still need you to come back. My director is like, my time is out. So
Part 2.
part
Yes,
2, we
yes.
have to do part 2. Now that one is gonna be hot. Yo tutaenda. But thank you, Maze, for coming.
Thank you.
It was nice hanging out with you. Those people who kuna wase waliniambia Pastor Shiku ni mustrict achekagi. I felt you're easy.
Nani alisema sichakangi?
Wase pale kwa comment venye niliambia nataka Pastor Shiku akuje. Wanasema Pastor Shiku is serious. Serious business. She don't joke.
They must not know me.
Now you guys look, she has been laughing the whole show. Manze, I've had fun having chat with you. Knowing your life.
Yes.
Up to here. And I know you have a lot to talk about. So next time nitakuinvite tutabonga more.
Thank you.
Alafu tutaona Hello Gorgeous venye itakuwa pia tutaiongelelea hapo.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm happy at what you're doing.
Thank you.
Keep up.
Thank you so much.
If you have not subscribed,
Waambie.
click the button down here and subscribe.
Come on.
What are you waiting for? Subscribe.
This is your host DJ Saint. I have nothing else to say.